This is the Joe Daniel Football Quick Clinic. My name is Joe Daniel from JoeDanielFootball.com and the Football Coaching Podcast. Today, we're going to be answering a listener question. We're actually going to start a series here over the next few days. So if you are looking to have lots of things to listen to over the weekend and you're picking this up on Thursday, you're going to like it. If not, if you're listening to this later, then that's okay. Or if you want to listen to the other podcast later and you just want to listen to this one now, that's also okay. They'll still be good. But I'm laying these out over the course of the spring 2021 enrollment period for Football Coaching 101 and the Football Coaching 101 courses. And I'll talk about those courses more at the end. But rather than just telling you about the courses, I have a podcast. I have bills to pay. I want to use the podcast to pay some bills with this launch. And also, I think this is an incredibly helpful tool. We have a 95% satisfaction rate among the coaches who have been involved in this we have 101 coaches that have been involved in the Football Coaching 101, Football Coaching Mastery, and the Coordinator Masterclass. Over the last, this is our third session. So in the first two sessions, we had summer 2020, which was weird because nobody knew what was happening. And then we had our fall 2020 session, which was also weird because some guys were getting ready to start their season. Some guys were still in season, and some guys had finished their season like usual. This is the closest to normal, although we have a lot of coaches who are in season right now. So this is the closest to normal we've had on an enrollment period for it since we put together this Football Coaching 101. I'm going to tell you more about it at the end, but I wanted to answer some listener questions. And it just so happened that I got a ton of great listener questions from, I kind of sent a call out for questions, and I got some great ones. I have more than the ones we're going to be talking about over the next few days. So we have quick clinics for days, but I'm always looking for more questions. Always, always, always. Do not hesitate to send in questions. They usually make the show in a mailbag if they don't make one right away, but they always make the show. And now I will mention, I got at least one question about getting a coaching job. And so over on the Football Coaching Podcast, my other podcast, we are in Season 9, and Season 9 is 20 questions, which 20 questions is all about the top questions that I get on the Quick Clinic and from our JDFB Coaching Systems clients in our JDFB Chalk Talks and on our Chalkboard Forum, the ones that I've answered over and over again, and I'm going to answer them all in Season 9. It's probably going to be more like 21 or 22 questions, but 20 questions sounds more consistent. So if that was your question for the Quick Clinic, go and listen to Season 9, Episode 2 of the Football Coaching Podcast for that. Let's get on to the question today. And I'm going to leave out a little bit of information, but basically defensive coordinator I always hate to bring out struggling programs and things like that because I feel like that's kind of a private thing to an extent. This coach is a defensive coordinator in a very much struggling program. And he is a new coach and a defensive coordinator. So that tells you off the bat that if you have a new coach who is the DC, that we are now, maybe it's, I don't know everything, but that pretty much tells you where we're at with this program, right? We need coaches, we need responsible adults. And I love the question though. How does a new coach like me mesh with a prior coaching administration? He says, I'm installing the 3-5-3, starting fresh with everyone. He says, your 3-5-3, which the 33 stack defensive system, it's the same. I'm not calling that out. The 33 stack defensive system is part of JDFB Coaching System, so shout out to that. You can get a 7-day trial for $1 at JoeDanielFootball.com. The problem I'm having is continually being told that certain kids can't hit, don't play that position, are scared, etc., 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 when putting together my defense. My question, as I know that you've been a part of many different programs, is how to successfully do what I need to do without pissing everyone off. And if it needs to happen, what could be an outline for coach's responsibility and what lanes could be defined for a successful program? So I looked at this. This coach gets it. Now, again, I'm protective of names, but I'm going to tell you that these guys don't listen to this podcast. Not the guy asking the question, but the guys that are saying, this kid can't hit. He doesn't play that position. He's scared. Those guys don't listen to this podcast, so it's not a concern. But here's the deal. You've got to, you might piss some people off, and that's okay. Your biggest issue isn't pissing someone off. It's, as we talked about in Season 9, Episode 2 on high school football coaching jobs, loyalty, respect of each other on the coaching staff. Don't leave a good job when you got one, because This is more common than being on a staff of 8 or 10 guys who all get it. You may upset some people. You may step on some toes. And you just say, your biggest issue here is them going behind your back because of a lack of loyalty, a lack of trust, a lack of respect for the job, and a lack of respect for the kids, them going behind your back and telling those kids, hey, you can't do that. He's asking you to do things you can't do, or something like that, not having confidence in these players. So this is the blame game. And as I mentioned, Football Coaching 101 kicks off the series of courses that I put together. They're available right now, open March 24th, and the spring enrollment period, spring 2021 enrollment period, is only open until Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. Now, we'll open again in the future, so if you're listening to this in the future, just make sure you're on our mailing list. Go check out our 425 defense videos or something else. Make sure or just email me, joe@joedanielfootball.com, and say, hey, Coach, I heard the podcast. I want to make sure that I hear about this when it comes out, okay? When it comes back out, we'll do that if you're listening to it later. But if you're listening now, as this podcast drops, enrollment is open. And Module 1 of Football Coaching 101, and again, it's a series of 3 courses. Level 1 is Football Coaching 101. Level 2 is Football Coaching Mastery. Level 3 is Coordinator Masterclass. Decide the level that's right for you. As you go up, if you buy level 3, you get level 2 and level 1. But if you're in level 1, this is 101 stuff. This is day 1 coaching. And what I put in Football Coaching 101 is if I were hiring you, I would expect you to know these things as a football coach in order to be a good football coach. That doesn't mean that every football coach knows it. That doesn't mean it didn't take me 7 or 8 years to figure out some of these things or more. But if I were to build a football coach, build the mind of a football coach, these are the things that would be in there. And one of the first things is the blame game. Scared, soft, scared, slow, those words, they just hit on the foundation of Joe Daniel football. Coach simple, play fast, win. What happens when you overcomplicate? What happens when you don't give your players confidence? What is Coach Simple, Play Fast, Win all about? It's about giving your players confidence to do their job, to do the things that they need to do to be a good football player. It's not going to keeping it simple is not going to turn a kid who's a terrible athlete into a D1 athlete. That's not the goal. It's to take the kids that you have, because in high school football, in youth football, we take the kids that we have and we do the most with them. That's called coaching. And so we've got a coach here who's trying to coach. And we've got a bunch of other guys who want winning football handed to them on a platter, which sucks. Those aren't coaches. I hate it. So we do Coach Simple, Play Fast, Win, because if we don't instill confidence, what do we get? We get sloppy, slow, soft, scared football players. And we can't do anything about that other than try our best to fix it. Because you can't just say, if we got 25 kids on the team and we look out there and we go, 18 of them suck or more, well, what are we even here for? Go home then. Go home. So, Coach, how do we address it? What do we do about it? We do our best to get our staff to understand. First of all, a year can change a lot in a young man. Confidence can change everything. X's and O's mean jack diddly when that kid has no confidence in them. So you can sit there and scheme and then say, well, he can't do it because I drew it up and I told him what to do, covering. Remember the Football IQ episode, season 9, episode 1 of the Football Coaching Podcast, Football IQ? I covered it. I told him what to do. No. You don't get to tell him what to do. You have to teach him what to do. He wants to win. He wants to be a good football player. He may lack the confidence to do some of these things, and he may not be getting the teaching that he needs. So we've got to let these coaches know, first of all, man, here's the deal. I am the DC. And if some of you guys are listening to this going, but I am not the DC. Okay, then you are the D-line coach, the linebacker coach, the corner coach, the offensive line coach, the receiver coach, whatever you are in charge of, the freshman coach, the freshman holders, the middle school holders coach, whatever you are in charge of, you say, look, in my little world here, I'm taking ownership of this little world. And in this little world, I'm going to try to give every single one of these kids confidence to do things to the best of their ability. I am not going to turn them into something they are not either way. Because when I take away a kid's confidence, when I overcomplicate it, so that he's confused and he's scared and he's soft, I'm taking away what he actually is. He's not scared and soft and confused. He doesn't hate football. He doesn't not care. He doesn't lack focus. I have to figure out how to get him to focus. And that all comes down to the Coach Simple, Play Fast, Win philosophy. So we have the problem of these kids in the past have been soft, slow, and scared. I came in to my last job, good football coaches there. Now, I'm not good football coaches, but everyone, myself included, when somebody new comes into the program, myself included, I will tell someone coming into the program, this is what I've seen of that kid. Now, I've done it enough to say, here's what you're working with, but man, I want you to impress me. I want nothing. I'm going to tell you that this kid has not been a very good football player for us. He's lacked commitment. He's, whatever. But man, do not let that slow you down. If you want to run your head into what I consider to be a brick wall, I want you to do it. And I want you to come to me. I want you to come to me in 6 months at the end of the next season and go, see? Because I came in and there was one kid. I have a decent weight room eye. I've done it a lot. And there was one kid that I just saw, man, he was a hard worker. And the weights were moving. He wasn't blowing anybody away now. We're talking about, squat going from 185 to 245 over the period of a few months. That's pretty good. And this was a team full of freshmen and sophomores. But I'm like, within a month, I'm like, who's that? And they're like, oh, yeah, back up on the JV. And we're talking about a team that started a kid that was tiny at like tackle the year before, like did not belong on offensive line. And this is a good sized kid. And they're like, no, he just ain't got it. Like, all right, well, tell you what, it's March. Let's see what we can do in this weight room from now till July. Kid commits to the weight room. Kid starts putting up numbers, getting that squat up 255, 265, 275, 285, 300. Biggest squat on the team. This was not a big team. Biggest squat on the team. Actually, we were front squatting at the time. We hadn't started JDFB weight room yet. And he's committed. He's all in. And that weight room was giving him confidence. And when we hit the field in August, I'm putting him in at starting guard. Man, he's earned the shot. He ain't got anybody else. Everybody's freshmen and sophomores. He's a sophomore. He ended up being all-region as a junior. I believe all-region defensive lineman as a junior and all-region offensive line as a senior. We limited his playing time because we knew we were going to be going deeper in the season on the defensive line. But all-region player and college football player. Division III college football player. We all have those views. But what we did was we took the weight room and then we took the Coach Simple idea. Now, I was running the offense, not the defense yet. But it was the confidence that kid built in the weight room. Again, it's confidence. And then breaking things down. I was the defensive line coach. Breaking things down, simplifying so that he would know exactly what to do, how to accomplish the things he needed to accomplish as simple as possible, and getting to live in my own little world. I coached the offensive line and I coached the defensive line. And this was my own little world. I was also the offensive coordinator. I'm not a miracle worker, and I'm not a genius coach, but I can look at it and go, okay, there's a little something here, just like you're seeing, just like our coach is seeing here. I'm coming in and I'm looking at this and I'm looking at that 3-5-3 and I'm going, all right, I got to get best 11 on the field. This kid's the one that fits best at this position. Somebody else goes, no, man, you can't hit. He's got to. I can't accept that. He's got to. And you're right. Right now, he probably can't hit. He sure ain't getting any better telling him he can't hit. He sure ain't getting any better. I'm not saying these coaches are telling him, but you can't hide when you don't have confidence in a kid or he doesn't play that position. Well, hey, man, we can't have 18 linebackers. Somebody's got to get their hand in the dirt. We don't have any big kids. Well, somebody better get their hand in the dirt. We don't have any fast kids. Well, somebody's got to get back there and cover passes. So somebody's got to play fast. We go Coach Simple, play fast, win. And that's the foundation. Football Coaching 101 starts off with a course with a module called 19 or Foundations of Coaching Football. It is 19 keys to being a good football coach. Starts out with your core coaching philosophy, which is Coach Simple, play fast, win for me. The things you need to know before you hit the field, which is a lot of this understanding about kids, how you coach on the practice field. And it's going to take you through, to me, these 19 keys are things that it takes a lot of coaches 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 years to learn. And we're going to do it in a little over an hour if you're part of Football Coaching 101. In a little over an hour, you're going to have an understanding of this. And you can take that understanding, you can start to impart it upon the other coaches around you. Because you don't need to have obnoxious answers. When somebody tells you this kid can't hit, you say, who can? Show me the kid who can. And again, you don't say it as obnoxiously as I do, because I'm not, I'm preaching to the choir right now. I can be obnoxious. We're all outraged. We're all outraged at this guy going, he can't hit. Show me who can. And tell me why I shouldn't try to get him to. I say, Coach, I understand he hasn't hit. I absolutely understand that he hasn't hit. But he's going to be here. He's going to put in the work like everyone else. I need to get him to hit. And I think the way to do that is to instill confidence in this kid. And the way that we're going to instill confidence in him is we're going to teach him his job in as simple a way as we can so that he can do the bare bones minimum that needs to be done on the field. Because if he cannot do the bare bones minimum, then all the other X's and O's don't matter. I'm working with football coaches in these short seasons here in the spring, and I've got a lot of coaches who are like, linebackers just standing and catching. And I hear all the time from coaches who say that your guard reads are too simple. If he pulls, follow him. If he doesn't, fill. But I watch these guys on film week 1, week 2, week 3. Week 1, they're standing back. They're almost backing up at middle linebacker because they've had 3 days of practice. They've had no offseason. We're talking about these states that are just getting to play. They had no offseason. They weren't even in school. And you're worried about whether or not he can cover the play-action pass. He's covering the play-action pass while they're running inside zone or power. If I can't get him to do the bare minimum, which is to step up and fill for a linebacker, that's bare minimum. Step up and fill. If you don't step up and fill, nothing else you do matters. Nothing. So, Coach, I'm going to give him the bare minimum, and I'm going to get him to step up and fill. I'm going to do everything I can to get that. And then I'll worry about follow the guard. And then I'll worry about drop off on a play-action pass, defeat a block, tackle. Because if I'm running away from it, it doesn't matter whether or not I can tackle. I don't think he's scared, Coach. He's an American male, okay? American males are not known, even you old-timers who want to talk about this generation's soft. Dude, I've been coaching football for a long time. American males in general, at least the ones that come out for football, are not soft. They are not scared. They are typically, and I mean this in the best possible way, they are stupid. They think with the other head. They will slam onto a brick wall to impress a girl. They will put a car 100 miles an hour. This kid ain't scared. He ain't scared, okay? They're boys. They're boys. Like, they do dumb stuff. We've all done it. Probably a lot of the ladies that are listening that are football coaches probably done dumb stuff too, because you're not normal. We're not normal. Football players aren't normal. We can get it out of them. Coach, you just explain to them how you're going to get it done. And explain to them it might not work. I understand that. If you've got a suggestion, if you've got a solution, I'll listen to your suggestion. If you just want to tell me he's scared, I got to find a solution, man. I'm a football coach. I'm a problem solver. That's what Module 1 in Football Coaching 101 is all about. If you want to get a part of that, spring enrollment is open 2021 right now, joedanielfootball.com/FBC101, FBC101, or just check your email. As long as you're on a mailing list, you should be hearing about it. And you can jump in Football Coaching 101, Football Coaching Mastery, which is kind of the sweet spot that, again, in my ideal world, every football coach that worked for me for a year would have all of that knowledge after a year. In reality, it probably takes a lot of coaches 10 years or more to get that. And then Coordinator Masterclass is if you are ready to or planning to or want to step up and be a coordinator one day, that's the in-depth on game planning, practice planning, all those types of things. But this is a core of coaching is we can't just accept what a kid's done in the past and say, well, he ain't got it. That's our job. We're problem solvers. And that's Football Coaching 101. Check it out, joedanielfootball.com/FBC101. If this is your first time listening to the JDFB Quick Clinic, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Like I said, we'll have a few episodes coming out over the next few days during the spring enrollment period for Football Coaching 101. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of those. If you've been listening for a while, please go and leave a review so you don't miss any future episodes of the JDFB Quick Clinic. And do send in your questions. Don't hesitate. Send in your questions to me. Email me, joe@joedanielfootball.com, or DM me on Twitter @footballinfo. I don't read the main feed, so if you don't tag me or DM me, I ain't seeing it. So I skip right past it. I just found out about this. Oh, man, what's it called? I hate Facebook. I don't check my Facebook page. I want to do some lives here, go back on some Facebook lives, but I stay off Facebook religiously. I just heard about this thing yesterday called News Feed Eradicator. I got to look it up. I got to learn about it. Basically, what I understand is that you log onto Facebook and you just want to go check out your groups, or maybe you want to check out your business page. But maybe you're in some cool coaching groups over there and on Facebook, but you don't want to see everybody's political posts and, all their whining and crying and showing off and whatever. There's this thing called Facebook Eradicator. I got to check it out. I'm not promoting it because I've never seen it. I mean, I just saw it on somebody's page on a webinar. I got to check it out because I might be able to get back on to some Facebook groups and Facebook Lives and things like that. So in my page, in Joe Daniel Football on Facebook as well. So check it out. That's me for this episode of the JDFB Quick Clinic. Remember, check out Football Coaching 101. Those 3 courses available only until Tuesday, March 30th, 2021. That's the spring enrollment period. JoeDanielFootball.com/FBC101. Coach simple, play fast, win.